16 years of IFM, your campus radio. In today's fast-moving digital world, finding a space to learn, create, and be heard is more important than ever. Campus radio provides that space. It is a training ground for future professionals, a living lab where students can real and hands-on experience. It brings the campus community together through collaboration, shared stories, and open discussion. It is also a platform for creative and independent voice where talents grow and ideas come to life. With no barriers, students can explore, experiment, and express themselves freely. Support your campus radio where voices are shaped for the future. This message brought to you from IIFM, your campus radio.
In a world filled with streaming platforms and endless playlists, is radio still relevant? The answer is yes.
Assalamualaikum and welcome back everyone. You are now tuning into IIMFM, your campus radio. I'm DJ Nurin and now you're listening to Screen Answer. So maybe some of you are still new to this program. Okay, maybe some of you are just, want to listen to Screen Answer and this is your first times. So I will briefly introduce it to you. So Screen Answer is a student-led radio program that explores entertainment and digital broadcasting media. Particularly, we talk about the film, we talk about the talk shows, we talk about the influencer culture, social media creations, from planning, shooting to editing and many more. And the program highlights how media shapes identity, values and responsibility among youth in today's digital world. And we are here on Wednesday from 5 until 6 p.m. only on IM of FM. And for today's episode, we will have like a little bit difference from our previous episodes. We will explore on more on focusing on what we have learned throughout our screen and soul journey. Okay, so the first one is we will go through from from the first episode through the third episodes. We can see what we have learned throughout these 3 episodes, and I would say we do have learned a lot of things from content creations, from from as a youth content creator, and then we learned about banning in social medias. Okay, how we should become more aware, banning on social media, how we shaped, is it shaping awareness or limited our freedom. And then we learn about broadcasting, journalism. Okay, so we have learned a lot of things and we will go through it one by one. Okay, from the first episode, we do have episodes about content creations, journey into content creations. Okay, so the first questions that we have go through. So like the questions that we go through is when we first start, when our guest is Sister Tihani back then. When the first episode is Sister Tihani, so we do ask a questions on when she share about her. Let me rephrase. When I do ask her about I do ask her to share when she first started creating content on social media, what inspired her to begin, and what kind of content did she or usually. So we do go through about her background a bit first. Okay, and then I do ask her about the research does she do a research topic, because when we produce a content, it's really really important for us to do a research or a background, or if we include other people in our posting, it's really important for us to do a background check toward the guests that we are about to invite it. And about the the content that we need to produce, the research is really really important. When I'm talking about research, we are not going to sit down in the table and bring a lot of a big thick book that we have to go through. No, it's not. We are in a modern era, guys. Come on. So we are in a modern era, so we can search it out, everything, make sure the content that we are about to produce, the informations that we just received, is it true or not. Okay, we can go through from trusted sources, like if it a news that we can go, then we can go check from trusted sources first, okay, before we start posting. Especially now we have a lot of social media like threads, TikToks that keep updating a new informations that we don't even know where it come from. Okay, when you talk about posting, when you talk about content creating, we might want to follow what the trends, what is happening right now. So we need to do a research. Is it okay for us to follow the trends? Is it okay for us to to really get up to date by following that trends? Is it okay? Because back then Sister Tihani, she more focused on what the student needs. Okay, she more focused on what's really, like, it's not trendy on social media only, but what is lingering around the students. Okay, that's why she talks about Islamic purposes. She talks about mental, not mental, how I say, like mental awareness or something like that. So what we learn through her sharing is the importance of research and accuracy, the integrations of academic knowledge into digital content, because she is a psychology background student, so she could include all those information that she learned in class. And actually, that's for a student, that's how we improvise, or we get to strengthen our memory on what we learn in our class. Okay, that's how study and content goes together. And usually, if we have someone that we can consult, or we can seek advice for, then it's really important for us to go and seek for help from them lah. And what is the skill needed in content creations? It's the communications, the editing, the creativity. When it comes to media, when it comes to this integrated media journalism, it's really really important for us to have creativity, because nowadays we have AI, we have artificial intelligence that could beat us. And how can we beat AI? It's with becoming creativity, it's becoming genuine. The more creative you are, the more value you have. Do you get what I mean? Because nowadays you can just send it to AI and generate it right away. But how do you make it your creation, your content creation, it's more have more quality. Okay, that's what we need to learn, especially as a student. We have a long journey for us to learn. Okay, especially like our sister, a student content creator, we have a lot of things that we need to go through. And as communication student, this is our for my friends that are listening. Maybe some of you are not in communications majoring, but we have a lot of classes, workshops that provide us to learn on how to produce content creation. Like back then, I do have a chances to join audio-visual editing workshop, and I learn on how to edit a video, how to enhance the video to become more interactive. I learn how to edit even a simple thing like removing the background. Some of us have no idea how to do it yet. So this is the time that we need to explore more on the digital media world, because this is what we are facing. This the era that all of it is on our screen. And And we do learn on the real struggles of the student creators. As a students, we cannot, as a content creator, we cannot run from backlash. We cannot run from people talking back out of us, all the negative comments. But how do we actually face it? That is what we need to be prepared for, especially when we created the content. And how do we not only we talking about the struggles, but we also not only on online surface, online word, I would say online online setting, but also in our real life. How do we balance trends with how do we balance our time management with the studies, or even in a social content context, how to balance trends with the values, how we influence, how is the influence of social media trends toward our content creations? Because in this age, we tend to follow everything that are online. Okay, but also at the same time, this is the age where we need to be critical thinking. Is this a trend that we can follow? Is this safe, especially for us a Muslim, for us with a Muslim background? Is it safe for us to follow? Does it against our Sharia? That's all the thing that we need to be mindful. Maybe because of the young age, people would perceive us as the youth. Maybe they are not really mindful of everything. But we should break the stereotype, thinking that we are actually are more measured than people think we are, like that. And what is the impact of student-led content on society? And we learn on how the guidance for the beginners. But we will go into details. So let us take a rest, take a break first before we continue. So stay tuned only on IIM your campus radio.
It's been 16 years. What an incredible journey. To all our listeners, thank you for being with us. This is IIM celebrating 16 years of your campus radio.
Let's lead the way, lighten the future, share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason shall excel, shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we the Khalifa, we will fulfill the Amanah. Together we make the world a better place. Forever expand the culture of Iqra. IUM is to realize the meaning of Ramadan al-Amin. Together we make the world a better place. Forever expand the culture of Iqra. IUM is to realize the meaning of mercy to all the worlds for Tuning into voices bright and clear. Across the air, we're always near. IUM FM, your campus radio. With knowledge, truth, and something new. IUMFM, the sound of unity. In every heart a shared melody. Reaching minds with every beat. Voices strong where worlds meet. From wisdom old to stories untold, we bring the light, the young and bold. Through every way, we rise and shine. IUMFM, your voice, your time. IUMFM, the sound of unity. In every heart a shared melody. Reaching minds with every beat. Voices strong where worlds meet. IUMFM, your campus radio. Here with you wherever you go.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Ya Tuhan kami, berilah kami kebaikan di dunia dan kebaikan di akhirat, dan lindungilah kami dari azab api neraka.
في الذكرى السادسة عشرة IIMFM هنا 16 عاما من الإبداع وصوت الجامعة ونبض الطلاب. صوت يتجدد ورسالة تستمر. لا تنسوا أن تستمعوا إلى IIMFM Your Campus Radio.
16 years, nearly 6,000 days of being the voice of this campus. From the first time we touched the feather to the digital wave we ride today. Broadcasting has changed, technology has evolved, but one thing has always remained: connection. The connection between voice and listeners, between stories and the people who will hear them. The way of the future is not just about innovation, it is about continuing that connection in new and meaningful ways. 16 years on air and journey continues. Celebrating 16 years of IIFM, your campus.
Assalamualaikum and welcome back to IIMFM, and you are now listening to Screen and Soul with me, DJ Nurin. And we have been discussing about the first episodes, and maybe some of you are just listened to this episode. So, our main focus is navigating the modern media landscape. Okay, we will go through what we have learned throughout three hour episodes, or what we can learned from our previous guest. So across these three episodes of Screen and Soul, we explore on how media today is not just a tool for entertainment, but a powerful space that shapes identity, values, freedoms, and communication itself. From student content creation to issues of content regulation, and finally to broadcast journalism. And we begin to understand that modern media is not neutral. It is a dynamic, influential, and deeply connected to how we live, think, and interact in society. Because if we think on back then, we might, throughout our we change gradually. Okay, in media terms, we do change gradually, and it's becoming better and harder for us to adapt also, especially for for the new users of this media, what you call, like the phones. So back then we have more like a straightforward media. Okay, but now we have like across the world. It's across the globe. Okay, what we can't reach is, I would say, unstoppable. Okay, so today's discussions will allow us to critically reflect on one central idea on how are we as media users and future media practitioners navigating the modern media landscape and responsibly and meaningfully. Okay, because through episode 1 we learned, like I mentioned in our previous sessions, we learned about inspiring about student content creator with inspired by the iman. Okay, what we learned, the student content creation is not just longer just a hobby but a platform of influence and responsibility, and a youth also can already influence other people, and maybe sometimes, okay, the youth influence are bigger than we can ever imagine. Okay, because sometimes the youth is more the youngsters generation are more closer with their own the generations are more close to one another, so that's why we understand on what to produce, what is suit with the current trend, what to create it. We are more like a pro on that. So in that episode we do focus on the content creations is supposed to be driven by intentions, by the Nia. Okay, when we are talking about content creations, we can also think it is as amal jariah, where we post all the good things that other people can learn, can become also as also become a amal jariah lah. It's amal jariah for us. Okay, and we need creativity and consistency to go along together also. Okay, so students often begin content creation through personal experiences, motivation to share reminders, like our sister Tihani, she do more about social awareness, okay, about advices on religious matters, okay, reminding everyone on what we should behave or what should we do, what should we not we do. Okay, the desire to inspire others, these are the things that driven us to produce a content, especially for students. And however, content creation is not as simple as posting. I would say it involves the planning messages carefully, because whatever you posted, somehow it cannot be taken aback. What we post already, we can take back. Sometimes we cannot take back whatever we post online, because there's like thousands people of that. That's like outside there are more people that are faster than us. Whatever we post, we doesn't even have time to delete it. Other people already copy it, or another people already download it. Because that's why we have to be mindful on whatever we do online. Okay, because it might become the weapon that we use against us. Okay, and we need to understand the audience perceptions. What is, we can follow our trends, but we cannot. We have to make sure that it doesn't go against our Sharia. Of course, as a Muslim, we have to be mindful that it's a good influence to the youngsters, especially even kids like 2 to 5 years old already can use the social media. They have their own account. Okay, so like TikTok, they already have their own account. They already have their own posting. That's like surprising in these days. Even me back then, I only had my social media account when I was about to enter middle school, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite a gap lah. The difference on the age that are eligible for, it's not eligible, I would say the age that they manage to make their own account. There's a difference. Even I would not say I'm in the same generation as the kids these days, but as the youngsters these days, but you can already see the gap. Okay, and we need to understand the audience. We need to balance the authenticity and the impact. Okay, and like that is like the thing that we can learn. Okay, so the student creators today are part of participatory media culture where everyone becomes both the consumer and the producer. Okay, I am the one who seeing the content, and I am the one who produce the content. That's why we are more close with one another. And this actually raises a more important questions. I think this is like the question that you can wonder of before you go to bed. Okay, are we creating content for value or for validation, actually, especially for the youngsters, especially for the youth? Okay, how do we maintain sincerity in a highly performative digital space? Okay, this like a big path for us to take. Okay, so I hope you can go through these questions while you find the answers. Okay, maybe we can have the discussion in the comment sections. Okay, and so what is the key takeaway that we can learn from the episodes? Actually, is the student content creators are shaping the digital culture, and with that comes the responsibility, the awareness, and the ethical communications. So we will go inside. We will go through a little bit about the second episodes that we had back then, about the banning on social media and shaping awareness of limited or limiting our freedom. And after that, we will have a little break. Okay, so what we have actually learned from the episodes is that social media is not completely a free space. And what we have learned from Brother Islam is that it depends. Is it actually shaping awareness or limiting the freedoms? Okay, it doesn't have an exact answer, I would say. So as we know, social media is not a completely free space. It's shaped by the platform policies, the government regulations, the algorithm controls, the one that controls, the one that held power against the media platform, social media platforms, the community standards. All of those things is actually shaping on social media content. So sometimes content banning often happens due to the safety concerns, the misinformation controls, the political sensitivity, because sometimes even when we posting online, it's not our posting is against their rules and regulations, but sometimes they have the control of banning certain content. Okay, and even though it's not really a harmful or violent content, but because the ones or the head of the social media platform holds the power, so it's they are the one who are in charge on either we want to proceed or not. Okay, and however, this raises a major communication dilemma. This is another question that you can go through before you go to bed, before maybe you're wondering if you just want to have a thinking. Maybe this is a question that we can go through also. So who decides what should be seen or hidden? I think, and the answer is already mentioned in our second episode. For those who already watched our episode, maybe they can answer it with a confident manners. But some of them who are not actually have not watched it yet, maybe we might be wondering what is actually the answer. So this is an opportunity to go back to our second episode and look for the answer. Okay, so content and what is the critical perspective that we can look through this episode? So the content restriction can protect society from harmful content. Is it true? Actually, I would say it depends also. And it can reduce the misinformations, it can maintain the social stability, but at the same time, it can limit the access to diverse perspective. Is it? Okay, is it? And this actually we have already gone through in our second episode also. And it can shape the public opinion selectively and raise the concerns about the freedom of expressions, because as I mentioned, there's someone that are controlling the social media platform, so whatever we post actually can be taken down by them. Okay, that's why we do face a lot of suddenly our video get report, suddenly our video get taken down without actually, and we think it doesn't go against the rules and regulations, but we never actually know what's actually happens behind the screen. Okay, and so in the modern media landscape, power is not just in creating content, but it in controlling the visibility of content. And this leads us to the questions: is digital space truly democratic, or is it subtly controlled by unseen gatekeepers? And we do have gone through about what is actually the gatekeepers, and we will go through more on this. So I hope you can stay tuned only on IIMFM, your campus radio.
It's been 16 years. What an incredible journey. To all our listeners, thank you for being with us. This is IIMFM celebrating 16 years of your campus radio.
Let's lead the way, lighten the future, share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason, we shall excel, we shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we the Khalifa, we will fulfill the Amanah. Together
It's been 16 years. What an incredible journey. To all our listeners, thank you for being with us. This is
Repeat now.
IIMFM celebrating 16 years of your campus radio.
Tak buat kan?
Sama tak buat, tak prepare.
Itu sensitif sikit lah.
Sorry. Tak apa, it's okay kan apa hal ni. Tak ada. Suka kau jemput lah.
Asal jemput.
Let's lead the way.
Light of the future.